Is May 7th. It's our 34th day of distance learning. We're toward the end of our 7th week, and we're in just the beginning of our backwards alphabet. Yesterday, well, now it's time for us to do the letter Y. So I'm going to do my first one, my first mark, which is a diagonal from the top to the dotted line. Remember, we always start at the happy face. I'm going to lift my pen, and we're going to go over here, and we're going to make a diagonal all the way down to the bottom line. Try to cross right where the dotted line is, and try to make sure that where you end is pretty close to where you started. Let's try that again. Diagonal, raise my pen, diagonal to the bottom. Diagonal, diagonal to the bottom. Diagonal, diagonal to the bottom. Diagonal, diagonal to the bottom. I'm really sorry, guys. The dogs must have found something really interesting to bark at. So diagonal, diagonal to the bottom. Diagonal, diagonal to the bottom. Let's see how many I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, I could squish one in there, but we've talked about this. If you don't want it to look squished, go down to the next line. Don't try to fit something in. It's really a bad habit. As you become a writer who's writing full sentences, your teacher will tell you the same thing. If you can't fit it in comfortably, start a new line. And that's not for you. That's for your reader. If someone is going to read what you write, they don't want to have to try and figure out what that thing squished in on the end is. So it's better for someone to read your work if you start on a new line. Okay, so I have my 9 capital Y's, and I'm going to start my lowercase y's. And remember, it's the exact same letter. We just start at the halfway point, and we go underneath the line, which is rare. We don't normally do that. Diagonal to the bottom, diagonal underneath. Diagonal to the bottom, diagonal underneath. Now remember, I told you if you wanted to, you could put a little curl at the end of your Y, and that was okay. All right, let's see how many I've done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I definitely cannot fit more here, so I'm going to go down to my next line. And even though the tails are there, I'll still be able to write. Down to the bottom, underneath. Down to the bottom, underneath. Down to the bottom, underneath, and I'll put a little curly on that one. If you're going to put a curl, don't do that. Just keep it nice and small at the end. That's not my favorite because of that little curly Q. So I had 6, 7, 8, 9. There are my 9 capital Y's and my 9 lowercase y's. Really do your best. And remember, at any time, you can look at them and say, what do I think is my best Y? Well, if I had to circle my own, I really like number 6 for the capitals. I think that's a good Y. And I like number 3 for the lower cases. That's a really good Y. You can always circle what you think are your best, or you can have mom, brother, sister, dad, anyone in the house circle what they think is your best Y. Now today is Thursday, and on Thursdays, Miss Doe always has us wear a shirt with words on it. And that way we can practice the names and sounds of the letters on the shirt. So I'm going to stand up because my words are at the bottom of the shirt, and I'm going to need the cameraman to focus on those letters. You can see I have a cool flamingo. I love flamingos. This one's even wearing a mask. He's being very careful. So I've got my Florentine shirt on, kind of like flamingo-teened. All right, so I have an F. The letter F makes a F sound. L makes a OOL sound. A makes 2 sounds, A and A. We already did R, so we already did A. Let's go to N. N makes a N sound. T makes a T sound. I, because it's a vowel, makes 2 sounds. It makes the I and the I. We already did N. E. E is another vowel. It makes 2 sounds. It makes E and F. And D makes the D sound. Now you guys are going to be learning later on that sometimes these letters work together to make new sounds, like we did with the T and H in Thursday. So if I were to sound this out just based on the sounds, it might sound funny, but next year in kindergarten, you're going to be learning how to do just that and sound out sounds. That's why we're teaching you each letter has a sound. All right, so usually on Thursdays, we also do big and small with our letters. So I have a craft where parents, I drew an outline of the letter Y, and we fill it up with different things. Today I figured since it's Y, maybe we should fill it in with something that begins with Y. So we're going to fill it in with yarn. So I'm going to take different pieces of yarn, and I even think some of my pieces are too big, so I'm going to cut some of my pieces. You can see I've already started the lowercase y, and I just want to fill it in. Super preppies, dot, dot, not a lot. You don't want a whole lake of glue. You want a little bit of glue so that your item sticks to it, but it doesn't spill over and get super heavy. We've been practicing this all year, so I know my super preppies are pretty good at this. So anyway, you're going to want to fill in your Y's with yarn. Don't have yarn? Find something else. Maybe some yellow cereal, or, you know, like Cheerios. Cheerios would be like a yellow cereal, more of a tan, but you can get away with it. Now I'm going to put down some new glue, and preppies, you are going to love this. Normally I don't think we'd have you do this in class, but you're at home and you have access to a sink really quickly, and you know, it's a smaller class because it's just you. So you're going to take your finger and you're going to squish the glue all in the shape, all in the capital Y. I just thought that was fun. So now I'm going to take my string, and you can do it carefully, one string at a time. If you're not the patient person, you can grab a whole bunch and lay them down. That's kind of me, I'm not the patient person. And if you're trying to get it into a space that won't fit, you can always cut some smaller. Parents, I cut a whole bowl ahead of time just to make it easier for the kids to grab. Encourage them to use their scissors so that they're getting some scissor practice. And this is not real technical. They're not turning the paper. They're not trying to do baby bites. So this is actually a stress-free way to practice scissors. So anyway, you want to fill up your letters as much as you can. Have some fun with the Y. And that is my last writing activity for the day. You can see it didn't take me too long. I'd like to put more in, but I don't have time. I've got to move on. So ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and do your big and small activity, your Y with yarn. All right, so it's time for calendar, and I wanted to point out that this is my email address. So if you have any questions or you want to send me pictures of your work, I'd love to see it. You can have your mom or dad send them to this address, dddisney2@yahoo.com. Let's get right to our calendar. We were just getting into the pattern yesterday, so I want to first do our month. We know it's the month of May, M-A, and we know the months of the year. Now yesterday I tried to do the Macarena moves and I messed it up big time. I think I can try it today. Let's see if I get it today. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Oh, I messed it up again. I really have to practice those hand motions. I don't know why I can't remember the Macarena. Oh well. September, October, November, December, then you turn around. Remember, that's on YouTube. That's Macarena Months with Dr. Jean. Those are the same music we use in class. Let's do our days of the week. 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 There's Sunday and there's Monday. There's Tuesday and there's Wednesday. There's Thursday and there's Friday. And then there's Saturday. Days of the week. Days of the week. Clap, clap. Days of the week. Days of the week. Days of the week. And remember, you can find that on YouTube. That is, let me check to make sure. That is the Days of the Week song with Martin and Rose music. Same music that we use in class. let's get right to our pattern because it was getting interesting. We have a daisy, a tulip, 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 bluebell. Daisy, a tulip. I wonder if you know what it is. Well, I've got it right here. Are you guys ready to see what it is? If you guessed tulip, you guessed it right. Let's look at our pattern. Daisy, tulip, tulip, bluebell. Daisy, tulip, tulip. Don't say it if you know what tomorrow's is. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Now, preppies, we're counting, and we're counting to 7. Let me hear you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's so much easier than it was at the end of April when we had to count so high. Let's talk about what today is. I'm going to put my little cap right here. Today is the number we just put up. So I'm going to follow my finger up and I see a TH. Remember we learned about that. TH means you stick your tongue out a little bit and blow through your teeth. Thursday. So today is Thursday. Yesterday, well, remember when we're trying to find out what yesterday is, we look at the day that already happened. So I'm going to put yesterday right here. And I'm going to follow it up to Wednesday is our only day of the week that begins with W. So yesterday was Wednesday. Now we have to figure out what tomorrow will be. And remember, tomorrow hasn't happened yet. So I'm going to put it on the first empty spot. There we go. There's my tomorrow. And if I look up and follow my finger up, I see the only day of the week that begins with F. Tomorrow will be Friday. So let me put this in here and let's review. Today is Thursday. Yesterday was Wednesday. Tomorrow will be Friday. It is now time for us to see the weather. And I think you'll figure out what it is. So let's take a good look at the sky. Wow, it is a beautiful day. I think we're ready to come inside and talk about our choices. So here are our choices. We have windy, rainy, sunny, snowy, cloudy, and partly cloudy, which means we have clouds and sun. And when I looked today, I saw one teeny tiny cloud. I don't even think that's going to count. So what would you choose? Yep, I'm going with sunny too. Let's put that in. Our weather today is sunny. And that concludes calendar. Oh, nope, there's one more thing in calendar. On Thursdays, we do an estimation jar. Well, I have a tasty estimation jar here. I have some candy inside. Remember, an estimation is a fancy way of saying a guess. But when you make an estimation, you are not allowed to sit there and count. You have to look at it and make what is a reasonable guess. Like if I were to look at this, I would not say there's 2 candies in here. Oh my goodness, I know there's more than 2. And I would not say there's 100 candies in there because there's no way that's enough to be 100. So when you make an estimation, you make a reasonable guess. I'm going to put this up to the camera just for a moment and I'll show you the bottom. And I'm going to tell you your guess should be between 5 and 20. So at the end of the video, we'll count the candies. But that's it for calendar. Let's do some math. All right, it's time for us to do a little math. The whole month of May, we are doing the number 9, which means this is our 4th day of doing number 9. So I'm going to put my happy face up because we always start at the happy face. And remember that for this one, we're going to make the letter C that stops at the dotted line up and down. We never raise our pen, even though I did right there, sorry. We're going to make the letter C up and down. 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 Now I've been going pretty fast here and you can see that I'm just a little bit below the line here. That's pretty close. That's okay. Make the letter C up and down, but you don't want to go like this, which sometimes I see with kids. When they make the letter C, they don't go all the way back up. They just go up a little and go down. You do not want to do that. Let's not get sloppy habits started here. Let's make sure that when you go around and you make the letter C, that you take the time to go all the way up, connect with where you started, and then go down. All the way around, up, down. Well, I did a lot of 9s. I don't know if I did 9 9s, so I'm going to check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not counting these because they were not my very best. Let's see. I think that means I have one more to do down below. So, oh my goodness. That is not Miss Mary's best work. But that is also what I see sometimes. Sometimes when people do it, they go around and down, and they make like a 6 up in the air with a line. Let's make sure that when you are doing your 9s, you are taking the time to go from the top around to the dotted line, back up to where you started, and down. Now that's a good 9. I'm always telling you that you can circle what you think is your best, or you can have family circle what they think is your best. So I think I'm going to circle what I think is my best today. I'm looking. I really like this one. And since my son is here, I'm going to have him circle what he thinks is his best, or what he thinks is my best. Oh, he likes number 8 down on the end. So it's always good to get feedback from your friends. Now, on me. Miss Doe sent out in the weekly happenings some activities to do with the number 9. She wants us to find 9 4 different ways. So she wants us to find 9 things that we love, 9 things that we don't love, 9 things that are green, and 9 things that are invisible. Now, I want you to know I spent a lot of time this morning looking for 9 things that were invisible, and I couldn't find any. If you find anything that is invisible, let me know. But I did find 9 things that I love, 9 things that I don't love, and 9 things that are green. So my cameraman is going to show you what I found. Let's start with the things that I love. I found 9 flamingo things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have a lot of flamingo things. I got all kinds of flamingos in my lawn. Love flamingos. Let's look at 9 things I don't love. Well, Miss Mary's not a big fan of cheese, but I bought some cheese for my son, so I figured I would count 9 pieces of cheese. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 pieces of cheese. Now I get to count 9 things that are green. Well, I found quite a few things in my house that were green. I tried to make everything a little different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Your assignment is to go and do the same thing I just did. Find 9 things you love, 9 things you don't love, 9 things that are green, and I want to know if you find 9 things that are invisible. So today's story is Where the Wild Things Are, written and illustrated by Maurice Sendak. I'm sure you guys have heard this one before, but it's a classic and fun to read. Oh, there's some wild things. That night, or the night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another. Oh my goodness, he's chasing the dog. His mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew and grew and grew until his ceilings hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. An ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through night and day. Whew. And in and out of weeks, and almost over a year to where the wild things are. I think he's reached there. I see a sea monster. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. Wow, look at Max. He doesn't even look afraid. He's pretty brave. Till Max said, "Be still!" and tamed them with the magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all. And made him the king of all wild things. "And now," cried Max, "let the wild rumpus start." Oh, that's a rumpus, all right. A rumpus is kind of like just tearing around the house and just being hyper and silly and grumpy all at the same time. Oh my. That was the nighttime, and now it's the daytime, and they're still doing stuff. And now it looks like it's back to nighttime, and they're still... Wow, this is a long rumpus. "Now stop," Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then all around, from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "No! Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said, "No." The wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye and sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day and into the night of his very own room, where he found supper waiting for him. There it is on the table. And it was still hot. I'm guessing Max dreamed this wonderful place. I'm guessing because he was really upset that he got sent to his room. Have you ever been sent to your room? I have been when I was little. Wow. Still a good book, worth reading over and over again. I hope you liked Where the Wild Things Are. Well, I have to do the estimation jar. So I'm going to take our candy and I'm going to pour it into this bowl and we're going to see how many were in there. Do you remember what your estimation was? Put it in your head and let's see how close you became. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now, my family guessed 12, which means they were pretty close. Estimations are not meant to be exact. If you guessed 14, that's good. But if you guessed 13 or 12 or 11, that's good too. If you guessed 15 or 16 or 17, that's good too. Those are all reasonably close guesses when you're just learning how to estimate. Now, today in the backwards alphabet, we have Y. And one Y word that I can think of that's kind of fun is yoga. So if you get the chance today, I suggest you go on YouTube and you look up Yoga for Kids. There is a yoga instructor. She's kind of silly looking, but she's very sweet and you will like her yoga moves. It's called Cosmic Kids Yoga and it's on YouTube. I suggest you check it out. Moms, dads, brothers, sisters. It's definitely something the whole family can do. Ooh, it's a workout. It may not seem like one, but you're going to be stretching muscles you didn't realize you had. So for Y for Yoga Day, let's get some yoga done. So we're outside. Now normally we do an art or craft or PE, but I want to focus in on science. And today in science on the weekly happenings, we're studying about whales. I decided, since I know whales are big, that I would draw out just how big they are. So I grabbed a yardstick and some sidewalk chalk and came out to my street because I have a dead-end street and it's safe for me to be out here. No cars drive past my house. So I decided I would draw some of the whales we've been studying. If you look, you'll see that this pink line right here is the size of a beluga whale. This is 13.5 feet. It's twice Miss Mary and then some, meaning I could lay down there and be in there 2 times. The next biggest whale I decided to draw was an orca whale. And those are those black and white whales that you see. And you'll see that the orca whale goes all the way out to here. So when we say whales are big, we mean they are very big. I drew a humpback whale, and that's this orange stripe. And if you look and just follow the camera, my goodness, you will see that humpback whale goes on forever. I'm going to walk all the way to the end of the humpback whale. And that's not even the biggest whale we're going to draw. Today, the biggest whale I'm going to draw is the blue whale. Now, the blue whale I'm drawing in blue chalk, and I already started it. It starts down there. You can see the word blue, and you can follow the blue stripe all the way down to here. The blue whale is 81 feet long, and I've only drawn 51 feet of it because the humpback whale is 51 feet, and you can see that they currently match. So I'm going to put my yardstick down, and this actually has 4 feet in it. So 51 plus 4 is 55. 55 plus 4 is 59. 59 plus 4 is 63. 63 plus 4 is 67. We're not even close yet, but we're going to keep going. 67 plus 4, I have to get out another piece of chalk. I ran out of chalk. So 67 plus 4 is 73. We're getting closer. 73 plus 4 is 77. 77 plus 4 would be 81. That's our last section. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can see right here and follow it all the way down to the end of my street, that is the size of a blue whale. It takes up almost 2 yards on my street. My neighbor's yard and my yard. That's a pretty big whale. So when we talk about the size of things as being big or small, whew, big can mean a lot of things. Now, if you want to learn more about whales, YouTube videos have some great virtual whale watching tours. We can't go on whale watching tours right now because we're being asked to stay at home as much as possible. So getting on a boat with like 30 or 40 other people to watch whales isn't possible. But there are a lot of people who have brought their cameras and filmed wonderful videos, both here in the United States. California gets a lot of whale watching trips, but also in places like Australia. So you can see different whales from around the world. If you go to YouTube and parents type in virtual whale watching, you will get a ton of really cool videos. And they're mostly edited down so you just see the whales and not the boring part where you're heading out to sea. I hope you enjoyed the whales. I hope you realize just how big they are. And I hope you have a good Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow when it's Friday.